war that spanned 6 continents, over 70 million dead, entire cities erased, genocide, betrayal, resistance, and the dawn of the nuclear age. This wasn't just a war. It was humanity on the brink. In the next 10 minutes, we'll break down the full story of World War II, how it began, how it engulfed the globe, and how it ended in fire and fallout. So buckle in, because what started with a lie in Europe would end with a blinding flash over Japan. After the First World War, Germany was humiliated. The Treaty of Versailles stripped it of land, military power, and pride. Its economy collapsed, and in the chaos, Adolf Hitler rose to power. Promising greatness, he turned Germany into a dictatorship by 1933, rearming it in secret. Meanwhile, fascism gripped Italy under Mussolini, and Japan began seizing territory in Asia. In 1938, Hitler annexed Austria, and at the Munich Conference, Britain and France gave him the Sudetenland in hopes of peace. But Hitler wanted more. In 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union signed a secret pact to divide Eastern Europe. 1 week later, Germany invaded Poland. World War II had begun. Blitzkrieg, lightning war, tore through Europe. Poland fell in weeks, France collapsed in 6. By June 1940, Hitler stood victorious in Western Europe. Only Britain remained. The Battle of Britain began that summer, with German bombers raining fire over cities. But the British, armed with radar and resolve, held on. It was Hitler's first defeat. Meanwhile, Mussolini's Italy invaded North Africa and Greece, forcing Germany to step in. Then, in June 1941, Hitler betrayed Stalin and launched the largest land invasion in history, Operation Barbarossa. Germany pushed deep into the Soviet Union, but as winter set in, the advance stalled. The Eastern Front descended into a nightmare of blood and snow. While Europe burned, the Pacific exploded. Japan, eager to dominate Asia, attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, crippling the U.S. Pacific Fleet. The next day, America entered the war. Soon after, Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. too. The conflict was now global. Japan stormed through Southeast Asia, but in June 1942, the U.S. struck back at Midway, sinking 4 Japanese carriers. It was the turning point in the Pacific. In Europe, the Axis seemed unstoppable, but cracks were forming. In North Africa, Allied forces pushed back against Rommel's Afrika Korps. In the East, Hitler focused on Stalingrad. The battle turned into a street-by-street massacre. Soviet forces, refusing to retreat, surrounded and destroyed the German Sixth Army in early 1943. It was the beginning of the end for Hitler in the East. That same year, the Allies invaded Sicily and Italy surrendered. Mussolini was captured and executed. But German troops by 1944, the Allies prepared for their greatest gamble, D-Day. On June 6, 1944, over 150,000 troops stormed the beaches of Normandy. Facing mines, bunkers, and machine guns, they carved a foothold into Nazi-occupied France. Within months, Paris was liberated. Meanwhile, the Soviets crushed German forces on the Eastern Front, retaking territory at staggering human cost. In December, Germany launched a desperate counterattack, the Battle of the Bulge, but it failed. Hitler's empire was collapsing. In the spring of 1945, the Allies closed in. Soviet forces reached Berlin. American and British forces crossed the Rhine. On April 30th, Hitler killed himself in his bunker. 1 week later, on May 7th, Germany surrendered. VE Day, victory in Europe, was declared. But in the Pacific, the war continued. Japan, though cornered, refused to give in. American forces suffered heavy losses on islands like Iwo Jima and Okinawa. An invasion of Japan loomed, and so did something far deadlier. To end the war without a full-scale invasion, the U.S. unleashed a terrible new weapon. On August 6, 1945, An atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. 3 days later, another on Nagasaki. Over 100,000 people died instantly and countless more from radiation. On August 15th, Japan surrendered. On September 2nd, the formal surrender was signed aboard the USS Missouri. World War II was over. The price was unimaginable. Tens of millions were dead. 6 million Jews were murdered in the Holocaust. Entire cities like Warsaw, Dresden, and Tokyo were flattened. The world had changed. Old empires crumbled. The United Nations was born, and two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, emerged from the rubble, locked in a Cold War that would shape the second half of the century. The atomic age had begun, and the memory of World War II would haunt the modern world. The names still echo. Pearl Harbor, Stalingrad, Normandy, Hiroshima. These were more than battles. They were turning points in the story of humanity. And though the guns have fallen silent, the warnings remain. Freedom isn't free. Peace is never guaranteed. And history is not just something we watch. It's something we must remember. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more history that matters. And let us know in the comments, what moment of World War II do you think changed everything?